When Kathleen Webb's dad asked her what she would do after high school graduation, she wasn't sure how to answer. With his encouragement and a friend's recommendation to attend Kansas Newman College, Kathleen was set to become a first-generation college graduate.
At that time, the acceptable careers for women were nursing or teaching. That was acceptable, right? And since my mom tried to teach me to cut up a chicken and I couldn't do it, I kind of figured maybe nursing was out for me. And so I said, I'm going to become a teacher. And so then I loved history, and I said, well, I'll just become a history teacher and I'll go to Newman University. And that was that.
Her time at Newman would become some of her most cherished memories. From attending classes with a nun teaching in go-go boots to dancing in togas at a talent show, Kathleen will always hold her Newman experience close to her heart.
Newman was my first experience into a Catholic education. So my first English class was Sister Madeline, and she walks in and she's wearing go-go boots. Now, a miniskirt and go-go boots. Now that is really not what I thought a sister would look like. And she was, she was an amazing teacher. But wow, go-go boots.
Although teaching wasn't the career path Kathleen ended up following, she found a way to help others in her community through nonprofit work, always keeping God at the forefront of all she does.
You journey through your life, and there's different levels of your faith that you go through. And about 8 years ago, I changed the way I prayed to God. And I said, look, I'm really open, God, to what you want me to do. And just send me where you need me. Lead me where you need me.
He led her to her parish council. After her priest called attention to a community member in need, she felt a nudging in her heart.
And I went home and I didn't do anything for a couple of weeks, But God kept waking me up in the middle of the night, and I kept thinking about the widow. And so I emailed Father. I didn't call. I just said, hey, did someone take care of the widow? And he emailed back and said, how would you like to be on the parish council? And so I walk in, my husband's on the couch, and I said, do you get to say no to Jesus? And he said, no, I don't think so.
Today, Kathleen runs Children's First, an organization helping children feel safe and empowered so they can learn and thrive in their educational journey. She began by writing grants and making connections in schools, and shortly after, they placed a social worker in St. Patrick's Catholic School. Fast forward 8 years, Children First has made amazing progress.
In the 8-year time frame, we started with that one part-time social worker. Today, we are in 16 Catholic schools. We go not only in Wichita, but we're in southeast Kansas now and in Hutchinson. That is God's work. That is not me. I am just a surfer on God's wave.
Kathleen also saw the need to help homeless families within the community and created a program to combat some of the roadblocks that stop them from getting back on their feet. These families are placed in hotels, provided with meals, and are able to meet with a professional to help them work through the process of being rehoused.
So we started a program called Journey Home. And so if people are homeless, if they're living in their car on the streets, we have a deal with the hotel. And so we put them in a hotel week by week, and we're able to help them. And then we have a social worker that meets with them every evening to say, okay, what'd you do? What were barriers did you find out there trying to get housed? And our average from the time they hit the hotel until we get them rehoused is 3 weeks. Amazing.
Kathleen feels blessed that God gives her the people and the tools to serve in her community. She knows there is more to do, and she is ready for whatever God brings her way.
I was a parent, and I'm a grandparent, and that's our future. And that experience, I want to make that better for children. So I don't know. I am doing God's work. He wakes me up in the middle of the night. Kathleen, get up. You have work to do.
Congratulations, Kathleen Webb, recipient of the 2025 Beata Netemeyer Service Award.